Scoop World, it's your boy TJ Downing coming to you with stories from the vault. You see, they got me locked in here, man. They ain't going to let me out until we get to the football tonight. High school playoffs starting. Scoop World, what's going on? Friday, October 27th. Scoop World, what's going on? Friday, October 28th. Your boy TJ Downing here in the vault, man. Stories from the vault. They got me locked in here again. Not going to let me out until the Ohio High School football playoffs start. That's starting tonight. Make sure you check us out, Start Media Team on Twitter. Going to have some special coverage for you on there. We're going to have you on iHeartRadio, 99.7 FM, 106.9 FM, Glen Oak, McKinley, Maslin, Perry. Check out YouTube, Start Media Team. Got the big one, Northwest and Streetsboro. Got some bonus coverage for you, North Canton, Licking Heights. Hey, Scoop World, we know that we got the Penn State Nittany Lions tomorrow, okay? So here's a couple things you need to know when I give you stories from the vault. So my time going over there, I know you got to watch out for a couple things. We're lucky we got them in the daytime tomorrow, kicking off at noon. Not going to have to do that nighttime stuff where they get a little bit rowdy, but you know one thing at noontime, this group is going to be loud. They're going to try and take our offense out of the game plan, so we have to be able to focus and dial in, especially up front. We know last week we didn't get that run game going against Iowa like we would have. So whether it's Trev, whether it's Mayan, whoever it might be, Dallin, somebody's got to step up and get this thing rolling. So lean on the big boys up front. Give you some stories from the vault here. We go over there in 05, man. It was crazy. Night game, louder than ever. About 112,000 people in there. So close to me was my center, Nick Mangold, who will probably be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame one day. Shout out to him. But he's about 3 feet away from me. And he's making the calls as he would do for our offensive line, kind of get us going in the right direction. And we were trying to set who the Mike linebacker was, which you had Paul Plesney over there, also Dan Carpenter, flanked by Tamba Hali and Scott Paxson. So some legendary players for their defense. And they were able to kind of get us out of some things. You know, they beat us over there, but so close was Nick Mangold to me that even when he made those calls, all you could see were his lips moving, just like this. You know, so that crowd over there gets so loud that it takes you out of whatever you're doing offensively. So you have to be able to lock in, and we got to get that run game going to kind of slow them down. One thing we know, 12 o'clock kickoff, not going to be that rambunctious crowd that you're used to seeing over there in Happy Valley. You know, one road in, one road out. They get a little wild over there. You know, you got those good old boys over there in Pennsylvania. I can tell you this. They're known to expose themselves over there. They've been known to throw cups of urine on our band members over there. You know, it's a different group, and our rivalry is Michigan. But make no bones about it. Second right behind them are the Penn State Nittany Lions. So we got to go over there and get after these guys. Their group of students, they're crazy. You know, they're not as crazy as my friends down there in Block O, but they get a little bit crazy, and they do some things that are a little bit goofy. I mean, I could tell you some stories about my grandmother walking through as they're ushering her in, and she's got my 72 jersey on, and these guys are over there opening their coats, exposed. My grandmother, 80-some years old, and she's got to see this, man. They're crazy over there. So watch walking through. I know they're probably going to be out there with tents tonight, sleeping. They're probably not going to go to bed because they know it's a 12 o'clock kickoff. They're going to be crazy. They're going to be, some cocktails flowing. No, they're not going to be eating anything to soak that up. So when you come across a Nittany Lion tomorrow, make sure you let them know what time it is, man. Give them a little something right here from 7 Deuce for my granny up there who's looking down on us, man. They mistreated her a little bit, man, but they mistreated us on the field, so we got to get some payback. Buckeye Nation needs to show up loud and proud. Our boys up front, we got to road grade these cats, man. We got to soften up that box. We got to load people in there so that CJ Stroud can do his thing. They're not going to be able to cover down on all these great receivers that we have. But when you go in to Happy Valley, you've got to be prepared for anything. And some stories from the vault, as they see, they got me locked in here, man. Scoop CEO, Kirk Barton, he's not letting me out, man. He's keeping me in here with all the money. So, I'm holding it down for you. But Scoop World, man, I can tell you some stories right now. We talked about it on one of the podcasts we did earlier this season where Jeff Logan, the All Big Ten captain running back for the Buckeyes right after Archie, had told us about as they were coming into Happy Valley, there was the one plane with the starters. You got the other plane back here with what he called the AYOs, all you others. And flight attendant comes back, says, Coach, we're not going to be able to land in Happy Valley. We're going to have to take this thing over to Harrisburg. And Woody said, unacceptable. They said, well, they were flying on what they called Agony Air, which was Allegiant Air, which had those propellers, the prop planes on each side. And so as they were coming in, feeling that turbulence, Woody said, unacceptable, we're landing, we're going into Happy Valley. We're storming them. Well, she said, this could be dangerous. There could be some risk involved here. So they radioed up to the captain. Woody said, send the AYOs in first. If they make it, we'll follow in behind them. So he was willing to risk plane number 2 just to be able to get plane number 1 in there, whether they were going to have to divert that to Harrisburg or not. It all worked out okay. So, but when we were going over there in 2005, we had to divert to Harrisburg. Sleet, snow, rain, the whole mix. We get into Harrisburg, and that was the legendary blow up on bus number 1, where one of our linebackers got a little mouthy, was a little bit upset about what was going on. We were getting to about midnight. We hadn't even had our pregame meal yet, hadn't had our final meetings, and we're in this charter bus, and we're kind of circling around the airport, and Coach Tress is up front. You can tell everybody's just a little bit on edge. Road trips, you're always going to have that, but when you got to change plans, when you got to adapt on the fly, guys kind of react a little differently with that stuff. So as we got in these charter buses, man, this guy drove us into a dead end in the back of the airport, and we were stuck. 4 buses deep, log jammed into a dead end in the back of Harrisburg Airport. And everybody's freaking out. Coach Tressel had to get up and say a few words into somebody's ear to get them to calm down, and everybody was quiet after that. But we didn't get into the Ramada until almost 12:30 to get our team meal. You have some meetings that you're going to tighten up. Guys just wanted to get some sleep. We didn't have a game until 7 o'clock that night. But these guys coming in there now, we know it's going to be a little bit easier with a noon game. They're not going to be as rambunctious, still going to be loud. I don't believe you're going to have the whiteout, even though they're going to try and do some different things. That student section is crazy over there. They are a rabid fan base. So we got to get after them from the moment that we get off the bus there at Happy Valley, in that stadium. We have to be locked and loaded, ready to go. All right, Stories from the Vault, told you, bringing it to you every week. Got the Penn State Nittany Lions this week. We have to get after these guys. Another thing, check us out on Stark Media Team. Got some great high school football coming up for you here tonight. A couple guys that we followed over the last couple of years that we know are going to be on that team over there for Penn State. Drew Aller, the great quarterback from Medina. Not sure if we're going to get to see him or not. Caden Saunders, a standout wide receiver from down there in Central Ohio, from Westerville South. Got a chance to see him. He's a speedster. I think he kind of tips in kind of like a Jaden Ballard from Massillon. Maybe that number 5, number 6 receiver. So maybe we'll see Caden Saunders out there, but we got to get after these guys. We got to attack them. And Scoop World, as we always know, check us out on the threads. Go over there to BuckeyeScoop.com. I'll check in with you guys with some score predictions. We're also going to do some swag giveaway. If you get the right score, we'll throw some things out to you, mail some stuff out to you, some autographs, some different gear from right here in Stark Media at our studios in downtown Massillon. So appreciate you guys all. Always check us out on Twitter, Buckeye Scoop, on Twitter, YouTube. Check out the website. Come play with us, man. Shoot us some info over. Let's rattle back and forth. Let's talk some football, and let's talk a big Big Ten win here this weekend. We know that the Michigan Wolverines, they took care of business at home when they played Penn State earlier just a few weeks ago. We have to handle business as we get set for a huge matchup with the Michigan Wolverines at the end of the season. This is part of that test. Talked about it with Ryan earlier this week on the podcast. November is for the real contenders. This is where it, last week, Halloween weekend, no surprises, no scares. Take care of business so that you can roll into November, hit another solid 3 weeks, and let's get ready for the Michigan Wolverines. But not before we go over there and we take care of the Nittany Lions. Scoop World, it's your boy TJ Downing. We're coming back at you next week. Stay tuned.